What's up, everybody? He's Gates Emoji. I'm Emerson Hip, and welcome back to the Intoxicated Sports Report. How about him on this hump day?
Yes. How's it going, my friend?
It's going good.
Good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
How's dry January treating you?
It's the first week, definitely the first few days, I was like psyching myself out. I'm like, dude, I was like, can I really do this? You crave it too. You're like, man, I wouldn't mind having a nice
tall one,
a nice tall one with a nice buzz.
Yeah.
Because I have had some like NA drinks here and there, and I'm obviously drinking a mocktail that I love. I could drink these all the time. They're so good.
I'll keep those in the repertoire.
Thank you. But yeah, it's fine. About halfway through, I'm gonna go longer. I wanted to go ideally until my birthday, which I know is until April, which sounds nuts, but I just kind of want to. I just think I just need to go out for a little bit.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You know what I mean? We'll see.
Not a bad thing to take a break.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, at least if I do January, I can be proud of myself for that.
Right.
I mean, February, it's like the shortest month of the year, so I might as well just do February.
Good. Yep.
But we'll see.
Nice.
What about you?
Dude, I've had, before I get into my drink, I've seen so many just like memes trashing dry January. I've had to hold up on sending them to you.
I don't care if you trash me for it at all.
I don't want to feel like a dick.
Oh, no. Not at all.
But there's some good ones out there.
Because, I definitely would like a beer, but I just have to, prove to myself that I don't have to have one.
Yeah.
It's
good.
And I got to say, NA beers, especially like IPAs, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
And you don't get the buzz, but you get the taste. And I feel like a lot for me, drinking those has to do with the taste.
You should bring some over so we can test them out.
I should just go buy a pack or something.
Yeah, do it.
Whole Foods. Because it's like the reason why I like drinking Pilsners. Because I don't like the taste of Pilsners.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like the IPA, it's heavy, kind of like the hoppiness
Got
to
some
it.
flavors.
Yeah.
No
So
doubt.
yeah, maybe next week I'll bring a pack over here so I can keep some in the fridge for a while.
There you go. I'm drinking for the first time on this podcast this year.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Having a little like Negroni kind of cocktail with some sparkling water involved. Almost like a Spagliato. Remember those?
Oh, yeah. With Prosecco in it?
Yeah, no Prosecco though. Just doing some bubbly water instead.
I love the glass you're using too.
Yeah. It's a real winner's glass.
I don't love it, but I got it for you.
You did give it to me.
I love that you're using it.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a nice cocktail size.
It's a shameful glass this year.
Yeah. Welcome to being the rest of it. Although being a Niner fan, you're never really, really happy. I mean, you're happy, but you're never as happy as you could be.
It's not very much different than your situation as Cowboys fan.
It's just different levels.
Yeah, slightly different levels, but still unfortunate.
We peak in the divisional round.
Yeah, we peak in
the NFC Championship,
right.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you don't peak.
We don't peak in the Super Bowl, but that's what we get.
Yes, exactly. So.
We were watching Warriors and T-Wolves. Warriors off to a hot start of 18-4. I told Gage before this podcast started that, because they got off to a 13-0 run to start the game.
Yes.
I said, undoubtedly, the Warriors will at least make this interesting, if not lose the game.
And what I said about this game, just watching it, the Timberwolves are wearing what I think are booty uniforms.
Terrible.
What is that, a gray?
Yeah.
With the neon green outlining. So I'm thinking to myself, what does this mean? It has to mean something. So it says...
Oh, you found it.
Yeah. The Minnesota Timberwolves have worn neon green uniforms to represent the state of Minnesota and the Northern Lights. It says, inspired by the Wolfpack's nighttime journey under the eye of the vibrancy of the Northern Lights.
Okay. At least there's some meaning to it. But yeah, they don't look good.
No, especially when the Warriors are wearing their very beautiful, what I like to call Wilt Chamberlain whites.
Yep, those are clean.
They're really nice. So
Ooh,
the Warriors should win. The Warriors should win this game based off that alone.
Right, they deserve it. Uniforms and all.
And they're up 20-5. So when you listen to this podcast, look back and see if the Warriors actually won this game.
I'm really gonna laugh if they lose.
You never know.
And we also talked about this before the show. So your stat was that the Warriors are the first, or would be the first team to miss the playoffs
after starting 12-3.
Right. And I also saw today that they're the first team to start 12-3 and at any point in that same season fall below 500. And we're not even at the halfway point, which is insane.
That one made me laugh. Yeah. Because it's like, we're still early in the season.
Right. Yeah, long way to go here.
So.
But, looking good so far today.
It's just nice to have some kind of primetime sport on while we're doing this on a Wednesday, given the fact the NFL is the way it is right now in the playoffs.
No Thursday Night Football anymore.
No Thursday Night Football. The Sharks I don't really know hockey schedules, but the Sharks aren't ever on. It seems like every other day or anything like that.
It's the same as the NBA schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do they
About
pay
3 times a week.
Do they pay back-to-backs ever
Yeah.
in the NHL?
Yeah, here and there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, pretty much the same as the NBA.
Nice.
82 games also. So. But yeah, Sharks actually, speaking of them, they looked pretty good last night. I think I sat down and watched a full game for the first time all season last night.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah, I can't say I watched a full game, but I've definitely caught...
Other than the game we went to, of course.
Yeah. And I can't even say I really watched that whole game either.
Yeah, we were definitely socializing a lot.
Yeah, so we were yapping, which is fine. I'll usually catch, second, third periods, maybe third periods, like that kind of thing. I can't say I've watched 1, 2, and 3, besides the game we're at, like you said.
I've noticed that I get bored during the second period of hockey games nowadays. And maybe it's just because I'm ready for the actual intensity to pick up,
exactly.
So, but yeah, no, good fun to watch last night. 6 goals they put up on the board.
Are you going to pay for your bowl prediction right
Yes,
now?
yeah. Last one that I owe is as far as your notes would say.
Yes, the Chargers win the AFC West this year, and they made the playoffs.
Made the playoffs, had a good year. They were only 1 win shy of my prediction of 12 wins.
They took a fat dump against the Texans. But
I know. God, if they had won one of those games against the Chiefs, it could have been interesting. Because they had a lead in both those games.
You could say that about almost every Chiefs game this year.
Pretty much. I saw this thing on Instagram of all the games they could have lost, not should have, but could have lost.
Yeah.
I mean, they would have been 8-9.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Situational football, it matters.
Yeah, they're damn good at it. So yes, to the Chargers, who had a good year but came up well short.
Yes. Okay.
Ooh, I haven't had that one in a while.
What is that?
It's this Alpine liqueur.
Okay.
It's actually pretty sweet, so it's not that bad. But
Let me smell it.
Just the flavor, I kind of forgot what it was like.
Okay.
I just need some water for that one.
Ooh, yeah. Smells like yeah. It smells like mint. Is it minty? No. Yeah.
A tad, kind of candy mint.
Okay.
Yeah.
At first, it smelled like straight rubbing alcohol. then you get the smell after that. So.
Ooh. Fun stuff.
So yeah, you only have 2 left. I have a lot that are more long term.
Right. What do I have going right now? Just remind me.
The Ovechkin all-time goals.
Oh yeah, it's coming up. It couldn't happen this year.
That's coming up.
I'm so excited.
That was all the way back in 2020. That was like 2 months after we started this podcast.
Jeez, that's awesome to know that.
Is awesome.
I couldn't remember how long it was.
Yeah. And then you and Dylan share this one. I didn't put an actual
the
date,
Giannis?
but circa 2021, excuse me.
Yeah. One thing I remember saying about it is it was within that contract that he signed.
Do we know if he's asked, because the wording is Giannis asks for a trade in the next 5 years.
Oh.
Do we know if he's asked for a trade in the last 5 years?
No.
That's been public.
But there was obviously some rumors this year, but no, he never publicly asked for it.
Not a full Jimmy Butler?
No.
Okay.
Speaking of, I've gone back and forth on this, and I think the Warriors should just send it. Fuck it. Who cares?
I thought you were going to say put Jimmy Butler in jail.
No. I mean, you probably
I guess we haven't really talked about him much.
No.
He's annoying.
We haven't talked basketball much this year, honestly.
We haven't.
Yeah.
But he just isn't... He just kind of seems like a diva.
He got a little annoying the last couple of years.
I understand he wants to do the best for himself and his family and that whole thing. I can't knock him for that.
Yeah.
But when I hear about how he talks and what he does when it comes to contract negotiations, excuse me, I can't help but think diva wide receiver.
Yeah. Well, the way he got himself out of both of Minnesota and Philly was pretty cringy. Mm-hmm. But then when he went to Miami and kind of took that team to the finals twice, kind of out of nowhere, everyone gained a little more respect for him. But yeah, now he's back to those old ways, which, yeah, you're right. Sometimes you got to do what's best for you, but he doesn't exactly do it in the classiest way. All right.
Not at all.
Shall we jump into college football?
Let's do it.
All right. In the Final Four, we had Notre Dame and Penn State play in the Thursday game. This was a fantastic game.
This was a banger.
Absolute banger. Probably the best football game I think I've watched all season.
In
college or pro.
Wow.
I mean, it was intense.
All year.
I think so. I mean, up to this point, though.
Okay.
Up to this point.
You're saying it was better than the Super Bowl last year?
I'm sorry. All season. All year too,
okay.
because it was this year.
Yeah. Okay.
I got you. But I'm sorry, all season, 24, 25
So
season.
you really count like a game the first 2 weeks of the new year?
Well, I mean,
I guess you're right.
part of it is the fact that I sat down and watched it. Like I was off that day, watched it, no problems.
And I wasn't even trying to talk shit about the Super Bowl because it was a great game.
It was it went to overtime. You don't get a lot of overtime Super Bowls.
Okay, so
yeah, no question.
I guess that was last season. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about this season. Yes,
You're talking about like actual, like season, not the year, not from January to January.
right.
Okay, gotcha.
August to now.
There we go. Okay.
I mean, great game. Both teams made mistakes. Both teams made huge plays. I thought it was really really entertaining. Notre Dame, of course, came out on top 27-24 over Penn State. Penn State did come out hot, dominating really the second quarter, not the first half of the second quarter, but only led 10-3 at half. Both teams, of course, were trading punches all second half. And, of course, the big turnover by Drew Aller, quarterback of Penn State. That pick was actually pretty sweet by the defensive back. That was a nice diving play.
Was he rolling to his left and threw it?
Yeah, it was not a great decision on his part.
It's like something Brett Favre would do.
Yeah, one he wanted to have back. Yeah, it reminded me of him against the Saints.
In the championship game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was honestly, if you really put them together, he probably did that in the same time frame in the fourth quarter.
Pretty much, and same outcome essentially.
Yeah,
with the game-winning field goal after that. It's pretty crazy to think about.
Wasn't Favre rolling to his left and he threw it?
I don't remember the exact play, but it sounds kind of right. He definitely was like getting out of the pocket.
Rolling to his left, like threw it in midfield and the guy intercepted.
Yeah,
it was late in the fourth quarter.
I mean,
because I think the Vikings would have, because Brett Favre didn't need to make that throw.
No,
I think it was.
We could have conceded overtime, if anything.
But I don't even think that was. I mean, I guess it wouldn't have mattered if it was fourth down because it would have been like essentially a punt.
Right.
But I don't think.
But it was like at midfield, so it gave him good field position. Yeah. Which was what happened here as well.
I remember watching that with Jeremy. I'll never forget that. I remember just
I'm sure he shit his pants.
Oh my god! Because that was the year. I mean, I know
they had such a good team.
I know we talked about it, but I thought the Vikings could have handled the Colts.
They could have beat him for sure. Yeah. Dude, a Brett Favre Peyton Manning Super Bowl would have been epic.
That would have been.
Not that Drew Brees versus Peyton Manning in hindsight wasn't great, but Brett Favre.
But those are like two of the twos.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Absolutely. So that set up Mitch Jeter's game-winning field goal, which happened with like 10 seconds left. So Penn State did get a chance to make a play or two, but never made anything of it. Player of the game was probably Jaden Greathouse. Great name, by the way. No pun intended.
Great name, great house.
Yeah. 7 catches for 105. He also had that 54-yard touchdown late in the fourth quarter to tie it. But yeah, hell of a game.
Look at another Jeter doing
dirty work in the playoffs.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I wish he was number 2.
Who didn't let him have number 2? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, you got the last name Jeter. I mean, maybe an upperclassman has it, or I don't know what.
Very possible.
Eligibility is
starting safety.
Yeah, you see last name Jeter, you're like, dude, you're wearing 2.
Yeah. Yeah, was he like 30 something? I don't remember, sure. But yeah.
But you might not be the captain of this team, but you're gonna be number 2.
But yeah, fantastic game. When I put Notre Dame in my national championship in my bracket, I was like, it's probably not going to happen, but I'm just trying to put the pieces together,
So you had them in their national championship game.
The bottom half of my bracket was actually perfect.
Was it really?
Yeah. Wow. Which that's not crazy to think that one side of your bracket, the other half was terrible.
So who did JoJo have that he won the pool?
Well, he got Ohio State to the national championship. Not a lot of people picked Ohio State or Notre Dame to go to the championship.
So he gets that more than what you had?
He also did better, I think. Where did he do better? On the top half of the bracket,
okay,
I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because I think he had Texas going further than I did. Maybe.
Gotcha.
Definitely Ohio State. I had Ohio State losing in the first round, so that screwed me too. Yeah.
Also, shout out to JoJo for winning the. Did we mention this already last week?
No. We were going to talk about it, but yeah, we can talk about it right now.
No, we can wait.
Yeah.
I don't read, apparently. It's okay.
No worries. Moving on to the other semifinal, Ohio State beat Texas 28-14. This was actually a really tightly contested game as well. Not a lot of offense early on, a lot of punting. But the game was tied 14-14 heading into the fourth quarter. Ohio State put together a beautiful 13-play, 88-yard touchdown drive that gave them the lead with about 7 minutes left. Ensuing drive by Texas, They march down the field. They're on the 8-yard line. They get to 4th and goal from the 8. Quinn Ewers drops back to pass, gets strip sacked by Jack Sawyer.
Yeah.
Strip sack, scoop and score, 83 yards for a touchdown to seal it.
You're forgetting the most important part. They had like 1st and goal at the 2, didn't they?
I think, and then was there a penalty or a sack involved there?
Something like that. But I remember the run play going to the left. I'm just not a fan of run plays that don't go straight. I mean, I understand it. You
got to be versatile. I guess.
But
yeah.
I feel like you gotta just.
I think when you're close to the goal line, I agree with you.
Just go straight.
Don't get too fancy with it.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, if I was a Texas fan, I would just be sick after that. Like, man, we were this close to tying it.
They played a pretty darn good game up until that point. So kind of a rough way to go out.
Yeah, I'm sure Texas fans are happy that Quinn Ewers is probably not going to be the quarterback of the team anymore.
Well, he just announced that he's going to enter the NFL draft.
Yes.
So, yeah. So that's interesting news. Wasn't a guarantee, I guess, but
he'll be a great backup.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's a guy that I feel like you look at him and he's got plenty of talent, but he just makes shitty decisions at some point. I'm going to take one out of your book. Death, taxes, and Quinn Ewers making a bad decision in a big moment. Or turning the ball over in a big moment, for that matter. Yes. I mean, he kind of tried to give that game away against Arizona State before winning it in overtime. But yeah, rough way to lose. And I will say that I think Ohio State, after the fact, is a much better team than Texas is. But Texas gave them everything they had. So credit to them for that. So yeah, Quinn Ewers going to the draft. Also, Carson Beck, Georgia quarterback who missed the playoff, unfortunately, going to Miami.
Getting $6 million for it, isn't he?
They're throwing out some crazy numbers.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's not even getting paid $1 million. right this second.
That's not crazy.
That could change tomorrow, but right this second, Brock Purdy.
He hasn't even made $6 million in his career.
No,
in 4 years.
Carson Beck, who isn't even a pro,
is
getting paid $6 million in college.
Yeah. I think that's a big move for Miami, who obviously is having Cam Ward, their Heisman candidate, leave to the NFL. So they'll definitely be in the mix next year, I would think.
Yeah, and I like that move for Miami because it just makes them want to stay relevant.
Yeah, for sure. And Mario Cristobal, their head coach, he's got a good track record. Yeah. They jumped on that quick. I think it was like the day after Georgia lost, he was gone. So good on them. Picks. Last week, you got the Ohio State game correct. Ohio State -6 with the W.
Sorry, Dev.
I had Penn State plus 1.5. They lost by 3, so got the L there.
Damn, I went 5-0 this week.
Yeah, big week. Big week for your picks. We're going to get to your NFL picks later on, but hell of a week on your part.
I like that. That doesn't happen to me often.
Yeah. So overall records, I'm going to humble you. You're still 20-26.
Yes.
I'm 29-16-1. My record has slid a little bit over the last handful of weeks, but overall, no harm, no foul.
But you've clinched the crown for a few weeks.
I've clinched a very nice record.
So here, I'll do this too.
Yeah.
Put the crown on you.
Thank you.
Yes.
You are first to go this week. It is Ohio State -8 as the favorite in the national championship against Notre Dame.
Man, that's a tough number.
It is a big one. There's no question about it.
I really want to go Ohio State. I don't like the 8 though.
I could see it being a blowout, but Notre Dame is one of those teams that is very good at making games more interesting than they should be.
I'm going to do it. Ohio State 8.
-8. All right, I guess I got the Irish.
Congrats.
You got the green on. You should be taking.
No, I'm not taking Notre Dame. After watching Ohio State the past few games,
they look really good.
They look legit.
Yeah.
After they smoked Oregon, I was like, this is different.
Well, and in 3 games, they've shown their best, and they've shown maybe not their best, and still won all of them. So I think that's something they can take to the bank. What do you expect from this game? I mean, obviously, I think everyone feels that Ohio State is the better team on paper. Mm-hmm. They've proven a lot during just this tournament alone.
Yeah.
But
I expect it to be closer than the 8. I don't like taking Ohio State -8, but I do feel like they're going to win. I feel like they could kind of do what they did to Texas and
Maybe get
have
a little backdoor.
late backdoor cover,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But I think it's gonna be a good game.
I hope so, man.
I do, yeah, of course. I mean, you want the final game, the national championship, to be a good game. You don't want Georgia TCU.
Right. No.
Remember that? Remember that game?
That was terrible.
Terrible. But it's tough, and you got right under this national championship game banter. I don't want Notre Dame to win.
No, not at all.
I also don't want this to be the Notre Dame Alabama national championship of like 12 years ago. Because that was bad too.
That was horrible. Yeah.
That was really bad.
Yeah.
So I just, like anybody else, I just want there to be a good game. I think Ohio State can win and cover though.
No one on Notre Dame has a fake girlfriend, right? I think we'll be safe there.
Does anybody on Ohio State have a girlfriend like AJ McCarron?
Oh, good point.
There you go.
Good point.
Because if that's the case, we're going to see a lot of her.
Yeah. What was that girl's name? I was talking to a guest at the bar the other day about AJ McCarron.
AJ McCarron's married to her, I think.
But he had some off-field issues, I think, recently.
It's Catherine Webb.
Catherine Webb.
She's a American model and beauty queen.
Makes sense.
Slay. Oh yeah. The picture's probably got to be right there. This one on the left hand side. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where's Brent?
Brent Musburger.
Where's Brent Musburger? Put him in jail.
NFL AJ.
Lock him up.
NFL AJ McCarron. That's weird saying. NFL AJ McCarron never mind. Responds to Brent Musburger about what he said, because he was like he was glazing.
He was drooling
over
everywhere.
And she's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous then, probably gorgeous now. But it's like, dude, that's how you know the game was out of hand quickly, because Brent Musburger kept going to Catherine Webb every 5 minutes.
That was funny.
Do you remember where we watched that game at?
I'm gonna say it was Arb's house.
It was Arb's house.
Nice.
Upstairs.
That's right. Good stuff.
Good call.
We've watched more than one big game up there, I feel like.
Yeah.
Can't remember which one.
I had a stretch where I watched plenty of Super Bowls there.
Yeah.
I remember watching the Niner Raven
one. I think that was the first one I was ever there for.
I think I was there for the Colts Saints one.
Okay. I don't remember where I was for that one, but I don't think it was there.
I watched plenty there.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you expect from this game?
I think Notre Dame does have a really good chance, maybe not to win, but to keep the game very close. Their quarterback is interesting because I've been hearing the whole, like, he's like Josh Allen. But at the same time, he's a lot like Daniel Jones in a way.
Okay.
And he's like, he can be very excited, but he just will make those boneheaded fucking errors sometimes. But yeah, I think how good they are, not to sound cliche, on all three phases is what can keep them in the game. I know Marcus Freeman's going to have something up his sleeve.
And that's the Notre Dame head coach.
I
think he's a really good, based off the small sample size I've watched, just seems like really poised, calm, cool, collective, and a really great leader of men.
Yeah, and an unbelievable game manager, I feel like, too. I give him, speaking to your point, give him a shout out for whatever the fuck happened at halftime of that game last week. He must have done something.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was a completely different Notre Dame team in the second half. It was night and day. It was insane.
You gotta like that. You want that in your coach. Like, I want him to be the coach of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
We got an opening, bud. Come on.
Right? And I did see a speech, and I don't know if it was the halftime speech or just him giving a speech, but he definitely is a guy that commands a room with his voice, his demeanor.
Yeah.
So definitely credit there. As much
also
as
looks like a GQ model.
He does.
He's a sharp looking guy.
He is. As much as I hate Notre Dame, as you all may know, got to give credit where it's due.
Oh, absolutely. And two, I would say blue bloods, or at least blue blood names.
For sure.
Ohio State, Notre Dame.
For sure. I think it's
and to the point that you had a couple weeks ago, Ohio State winning would be okay because we've seen them win in recent memory.
Right.
Notre Dame, it's been...
Yeah, like if you hate Notre Dame, it doesn't really matter how much you dislike Ohio State as well. You're probably okay with it winning.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Unless you're a Michigan fan, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah. Which I'm guessing Michigan fans have a small rivalry with Notre Dame as well.
Yeah. But I can already see it. Michigan fans, if Ohio State wins, big if, they're going to be like, oh, you couldn't beat us this year.
We're the last team that beat you.
Because no Ohio State fan, if they win, is going to say, yeah, we won the national championship, but we didn't beat Michigan. No, none of them are going to say that.
There's been that talk. I'm not saying that's the way it should be. There's been that talk, though.
Listen, I know it's the game, but it's not the national championship game.
I'm just saying that's what has floated at times.
If Michigan talks like that, they are fools. Like, yeah, okay, congrats. You beat us in the game.
Yeah.
We play every year.
Right.
But you didn't win a national championship. You're not putting up banners for the game.
No. The fact that a bragging rights situation could be more valuable than a championship
it shouldn't be.
is kind of ridiculous to think about.
Yeah.
It's not kind of. It's absolutely ridiculous to think about. But based on rumors that I've heard within the media is that it is real.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
That'd be like, who would do that? That'd be like my dad if this year the Cowboys-Niners played and the Cowboys lost the Niners, but the Cowboys won the Super Bowl. He'd be like, oh, we lost to the Niners.
I've heard him say those words.
Yeah.
Saying that, that's my Super Bowl.
He said I'd rather beat the Niners and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard him say that.
He has said that. And that is the most asinine thing I've ever heard come out of his mouth, and he says a lot of asinine shit.
Yeah. I love your dad, but...
Oh, yeah, me too. But
when it comes to sports...
Come on, man. What are you talking about?
Maybe not the most realistic guy at that.
Same with Ohio State fans. If you're an Ohio State fan, you happen to be listening, and if you guys win the national championship, congrats. But if you're still bitching about not being Michigan,
Right.
I got nothing to say to you. You have the complete wrong mindset.
I will say, though, that Ryan Day probably does need to beat Michigan next year. just for his home security.
Okay, maybe. But if they win the national championship, they're gonna give him a statue probably.
Yeah.
I don't even think it matters if he beats Michigan.
He does feel like that one coach that let's assume he wins, right, this week. Ohio State wins. He does feel like that one coach where a fan base would, if he never did anything big again, where that fan base would be like, yeah, he won us a national championship, but...
Couldn't be Michigan. Yeah. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here. He won you a national championship. Yeah. Not everybody can be Urban Meyer and do both.
And slay.
And stunt Trevor Lawrence's growth.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that, too.
Oh, no, whatever.
All right, now time to give JoJo his flowers. The man who picked Boise State to win the championship. They didn't win a single game, yet here he is, hoisting the ISR CFP Bracket Challenge trophy
JoJo.
And the $130. Which, if you want that last $10, JoJo, ask your sister. She's the only one who didn't pay me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, that's funny.
So, I feel good about that.
And JoJo, I got to tell you, if you're listening, I talked mad shit after Boise lost. I texted Emerson. I was like, I forget exactly what I said. Remember, I said something along the lines of, Boise State's already out. JoJo's bracket's toast.
Yeah.
And I said, shame.
Yeah.
And then he ends up winning the whole thing. So, JoJo, my bad. Yeah. I'll own that one. Congrats.
It is crazy to think that he won the pool without his team that he picked to win the championship winning a single game in the tournament. Yeah. It's funny to think. But kudos to him. I did finish second place, so I got the second place prize.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. I was one of two, I think, people to have Notre Dame in the national championship game.
Good for you.
I believe it was me and Nate. Nate was not so fortunate in the rest of his bracket.
Have you seen what his NFL bracket looks like? He's like dead last, I think, right now.
Is it?
Although Danny's cooked.
I was going to say, is he?
And that's not even me talking shit, Danny, I promise.
Oh, he is dead last, yeah. But Danny's got the least amount of points possible.
Yeah, sorry. You mean you picked the Vikings.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What are you going to do?
So,
what are you going to do?
Yeah. Speaking of the NFL, the Patriots hired Mike Vrabel as their next head coach. Not huge surprise.
Yeah, there was obviously the connection with him being a former player.
I think it's a good move for the Pats.
I think so, too. I think he's... he would be considered one of those culture-changing type guys. I mean, you would assume anyways. He did a lot with Tennessee, who seemed like, a lesser roster talent-wise than a lot of the teams they played against, but went to, was it 2 AFC championships? At least one.
At least one.
Yeah, at least one, if not 2.
This could potentially be a head of schedule in the next couple of years type of hire.
I mean, as far as like how good they become,
how fast they can start winning games.
Dude, I think if you look at like Miami's trajectory, they got like kind of some aging stars. Mm-hmm. Tua's obviously a wild card. Yeah. The Jets are a fucking disaster.
Yeah,
they could easily jump into that second spot in the division. Maybe not playoffs, but second spot.
It's gonna be the Bills division for
Yeah, as long as Josh Allen's there.
I imagine the Bills are going to run the AFC East, kind of how the Pats did, to some degree. Maybe not win the division 20 years in a row, whatever the Patriots did, but it's going to be something along those lines, I would think, as long as Josh Allen can stay healthy.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I think this is going to move their needle quite a bit,
absolutely,
quite quickly.
Yeah. In other news, my Cowboys hit it. They will not be retaining head coach Mike McCarthy.
But who will it be?
Who will it be? Some current candidates, Deion Sanders, of course, is out there. Robert Saleh, I heard, had an interview, I think, today.
It's either today or it's coming.
Or it's coming.
Something like that, yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, that's... I'd be cool with Robert Saleh or Deion Sanders. Deion would be... it'd be too much.
Deion would be a little bit of a Hollywood move, but I think he's got things going for him.
Yeah, he has
as a coach.
He has credibility, unlike Jason Witten, who I almost didn't want to mention in this because it's so ridiculous. If Jerry Jones hires Jason Witten as the Cowboys head coach,
I'd shit myself.
I would
happiness.
I would. I know I've said this a lot of times, but I would not take the team serious anymore. I mean, I'm already getting to that point, but if they hired Jason Witten, unless I started seeing some kind of, victories, good, transactions, good draft picks, even though Jason Witten would have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
I would not take the team serious until Jason Witten was not the head coach anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think, too,
it can't happen.
Jerry needs...
It can't happen.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably a lost cause, but Jerry obviously needs to accept the reality of the current roster and make the necessary changes. I'm not saying I know every single one of those changes that needs to happen, but
it's easier said than done.
Yeah, but I think he's a little blind to the current state of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's an easy thing to say. He's definitely blind to the current state of the Cowboys, but yeah.
So with Mike McCarthy, I got to say he was a good coach for us. About 12 plus wins, 3 years in a row. Obviously, this year wasn't the case. Injuries, it happens.
Yeah.
I just, like I said last week, they needed just a breath of fresh air. And, the grass is always greener, so who knows? Maybe they hire somebody and it's even worse.
Right.
Which is always a possibility.
Right.
But I think this is hopefully a move in the right direction. I know Jerry Jones doesn't have a good track record of doing those kind of things, but please, Jerry.
Yeah.
Like the next 5 years of the Cowboys are literally in the palm of your hands, and you need to try to do your best to make the right decision.
Yeah.
I know you don't have ample time. You have a lot of time until the season starts, but you got to take the time that you need to find what you think is the right candidate. Which, do I trust him to do that? Not really. But he hopefully, and I saw what I posted today. This is a solo mission on him, which I think is ridiculous. Which scares me.
Yeah.
Solo missions with Jerry Jones do not seem good at all.
The quote from First Things First. What's the show? Is that what it's called?
The one at FS1?
Yeah. From Kevin Wildes it wasn't his quote. I think he was quoting somebody else. But Jerry's on a solo mission as John Wick, as if John Wick killed his own dog.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic.
So,
one of the best quotes
I've ever heard. It's exciting. My team doesn't have a coach, but hopefully they will soon. Hopefully it's a coach that I feel confident in.
That is. I mean, you brought it up already. It's the grass always seems greener, and I think it's fair to say that Mike McCarthy was probably never going to take the Cowboys to the promised land because there was it was very stagnant. I mean, you had those 3 straight 12-win seasons like we mentioned, but they weren't going anywhere in the playoffs. He fired his best coordinator, or basically pushed his best coordinator at the door to Kellen Moore. And then he got a little unfortunate, but Dan Quinn took a job elsewhere.
Well, I'm sure now Jerry Jones is probably thinking, man, I probably should have hired Dan Quinn as the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been an interesting move to fire and then hire within. But it's wouldn't be the first time that happened.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
I could go nuclear here in a couple weeks.
What do you think about Ben Johnson? Would you hold out for him? Because let's say the Lions go to the Super Bowl. Are you okay with your team not having a head coach that deep into the?
Yeah, it's only another 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
But then if he doesn't want to sign with you guys,
then you're kind of stuck.
Yeah,
because
then you get the.
But I mean, Ben Johnson, because I know he's the hot name on the block right now, and I would like to. I don't really know much about him other than him calling the plays for the Lions. And I do like what I see when the Lions play football.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I think of anybody that'd be the best person to get.
Yeah.
I think.
It's hard to say because we've seen a lot of
who else?
High-profile coordinator, like especially offensive coordinators, be flops as head coaches. But
because what other job would he realistically want unless they gave him like the kind of power that he really like maybe would want?
Yeah,
like the Raiders. Do you really want that?
I wonder if he even wants to be head coach.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Maybe
the Bears because of Caleb.
That could be enticing.
Possible.
Yeah. Could be enticing for sure.
Like the Jags. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence.
That is an interesting job where they're. I mean. Yeah, with Trevor's injury history, you kind of don't know. And just that roster kind of seems like it fell apart over the last couple of years.
And it's like what Troy Aikman said when he was talking to SVP post whatever game that was that they were calling.
Yeah.
That Troy Aikman, this is a guy who won 3 Super Bowls with the Cowboys. It was peak Dallas Cowboys when he played for him. He's like, I don't think the coaching candidate job for the Cowboys has the
same draw. Or
same draw as you think it is. Because, and I think that was a subtle shot at Jerry Jones.
Michael Irvin strongly disagrees.
I don't know.
That guy's a fucking
So, I mean,
wacko.
I know the Cowboys are America's team. It's the star. Everybody knows them. Everybody loves to hate them. Everybody this and that.
Yeah.
And I do think, being the head coach of the Cowboys, I think that probably is, in theory, appealing because, you're going to get all the eyes on you. Maybe you wouldn't like that kind of thing. But when you're a head coach of an NFL team, eyes are on you regardless.
Yeah.
Whether it's the Jags or the Cowboys. Yeah, Cowboys, you're going to be, talking more than you would be for the Jags. But
yeah. It's the most, Hollywood job out there.
yeah. It's like...
really not even close.
It's like coaching the Lakers. It's like managing the Yankees.
Yeah.
Or the Dodgers. Like that kind of thing. It's just like that. So, I'd be okay with Ben Johnson. I just don't want it to be Jason Witten. Jason Witten, you were really good at playing tight end. You weren't good in the booth for Monday Night Football, and I don't.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, see, because it was that bad. I don't think you'll be good as an NFL head coach. You're coaching high school football right now. Like at least Deion Sanders has coached college. He has two.
Right.
He has 2 guys that are going to be top 5 picks.
Yeah.
Like it's just more of an experience thing. If Jason Witten wants to come up in the ranks, college, maybe a little bit of NFL here too, and then become head coach, that's a different story.
Right.
But right now, I don't think so. And that's that about the Cowboys. On to the wild card games. The Texans beat the Chargers 32-12, which, correct me if I'm wrong, was a scoregami.
Nice.
I guess they do scoregamis in the postseason too. I did not know that.
Okay.
It's the 1,091st unique score in NFL history. We've had a lot of those this year. A lot of...
Yeah. We had a fair amount last year too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like that. Let's see here. 7 total turnovers in the game.
Yeah, sloppy ass game.
So this stat blew me away when I heard it. Justin Herbert interceptions in the regular season, 3.
Yeah.
Against the Texans, he had 4. How does that happen?
It's
that to me, I could not believe that.
For anyone that was ready to jump on the Justin Herbert wagon as being, kind of one of the guys. He didn't do himself any favors this past weekend.
Absolutely not. I mean, I picked them. I think you did too, right?
I think, yeah. I want to say the majority did. It wasn't a huge gap, but I would say more than 50% of our group in our pool picked the Chargers to win.
Houston scored 23 unanswered points after trailing 6-0. Because at first, I listened to some of this on the radio, kind of seemed like the Chargers had a quick hold on the game. And then, throwing 4 picks does not help.
Yeah. Well, there was that. And 2, they just didn't take advantage of Houston's giveaways enough early in the game. There was a fumble, I believe, early in the game after the Chargers drove down, kicked a field goal, started the game. Houston fumbles. They have to settle for a field goal after that. And then Houston throws another interception. And I think Herbert threw his first interception right off of that. So could have been worse than 6-0 to start the game, and then Houston's playing on their back foot.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's kind of hard to tell when you're not watching it, but based off what the group chat was saying, that the game was kind of bad.
It was not pretty. I will say and give credit to C.J. Stroud and the Texans as a team for kind of bouncing back in the second half after looking pretty ugly, to start the game. But yeah, no, this was not a pretty one, and Yeah, definitely a little bit of a surprise. Like Houston was pretty bad to finish the season in a lot of ways.
Well, they're hurt. They got a lot of injuries.
Yeah, a lot of injuries.
Or more like a lot of key injuries.
Yeah, like the receiving core has definitely been depleted.
Yeah. So your boy Harbaugh didn't have a championship run in him, or a championship game run in him, like he usually has.
Rare seeing him lose this early.
And Herbert's not going anywhere. I just think that was a really bad time to have by far his worst game of the season.
Right. I don't want to say next year's like kind of a must improve season, but it's getting there. You know, like
you kind of are getting to that point.
Yeah, like I think if he has another season like this, and then flops in the playoffs again, then you start thinking like, is he ever going to be the guy? Mm-hmm. And then that next season is kind of like a must improve type year.
Yeah. So Texans, moving on.
Yeah.
The Ravens beat the Steelers 28-14. The Ravens 50 rushes for 299 yards.
They just freaking crammed it down down Pittsburgh's throat.
Derrick Henry, 158 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Okay. I don't know if it's a bold prediction. I'm not going to take a shot for it right now.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl.
I don't know if they're going to win, but I think they're dangerous for sure. Yeah. They are very dangerous. They could absolutely beat they're the favorites on paper, in Vegas against the Bills, and they could absolutely beat the Chiefs.
I might be eating crow come next week because they play the Bills,
yeah.
But I don't know how you could stop Lamar and Derrick Henry.
They
both have to have bad games,
right?
And that doesn't seem like they both have bad games very often. Since they've been together.
The only thing, in theory, working against the Ravens going forward is that Lamar has had a lot of playoff woes, right?
Yeah.
But this offense is definitely different. The defense is not nearly as good as it was last year, but I think they're good enough right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that running game is just it's fucking unstoppable. Yeah. And Lamar had, even though it wasn't like a prolific statistical game, probably had his best playoff game of his career against Pittsburgh.
The Steelers, 11 rushes for 29 yards.
That disparity is insane.
That's bad.
299 to 29?
That's bad, man.
Yeah, and the time of possession, too.
Hey, the Steelers, got to give it to them. Another over 500 season, but another playoff disappointment.
I mean, the team had no business being in the playoffs. The only reason they made the playoffs is because they have one of the best head coaches in the NFL. That's my only theory.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that matters.
Right.
But you were off the Steelers, I got to give it to you, weeks ago.
Oh, I knew this team was not legit all season long. They've been known. I mean, you remember that last kind of hurrah that Big Ben had? Mm-hmm. That team went. They started like 11-0 or whatever, and then finished like 12-4, and then lost in the first round. Yeah. I mean, they've done it before.
Yeah. Time of possession: Baltimore almost 40 minutes, and Pittsburgh 20. So that's
just absolute dominance. And that kind of like goes hand in hand with the rushing and all the attempts. I mean, to hand the ball off, or not necessarily hand the ball off, because Lamar took a lot of those carries, but 50 times on the ground is
a lot.
It's a high number.
I mean, you don't see that number very often.
I mean, you kind of assume that you're going to run about 65, 70 plays in a game. 50 times running the ball, that's incredible.
That is.
And to be able to do it that efficiently as well.
The Bills, they beat the Broncos 31-7. Buffalo scored 31 unanswered after Denver scored on the opening drive. After that opening touchdown, I'm like, could this be a long day for the Bills? And it turned out that it wasn't.
Yeah. People were kind of calling this one as like upset potential out of all the games this past weekend. I was like, I just don't see it. No. Don't see it at all.
But the Bills haven't lost at home all season, which I know doesn't mean anything because of what the Cowboys did last year. You're not telling me that.
But yeah, dominant performance, especially from basically the second quarter on by the Bills.
Yeah, I'll give it to the Broncos because, ahead of schedule, I would say Bo Nix looks pretty good. I think he's probably going to be their guy for a little bit. I think Sean Payton likes him.
Yeah.
He played, I think him playing a lot of years in college really...
It definitely expedites things early in your career.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I wonder what he eventually ever gets to. Like,
yeah, what's his
peak?
His ceiling?
Yeah, what's his ceiling? I just don't know that he's got the same kind of talent that the guys that we think of as franchise quarterbacks are.
Like, could his ceiling be like Brock Purdy?
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad ceiling in theory because of where Brock Purdy's gone. Like, he's gone to 2 NFC championships, Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. But obviously, Brock Purdy is not considered in the same talent categories as other guys that we think of. So, yeah. I mean,
but I think it was a good season by the Broncos. Like one that I did not see coming. I don't think you did either.
No, I had them in like 4 games.
I don't even think Bronco fans saw
this. I mean, I think I probably disrespected Sean Payton a little bit with my prediction, but still, yeah, definitely surprised.
Yeah, Josh Allen, 318 total yards, 2 touchdowns passing.
Played like the MVP.
Just Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things.
Yeah.
James Cook, 120 yards, 1 touchdown, doing James Cook things. Time of possession, Buffalo 41, Denver 18. That is a disparity.
That is, I mean, when I was kind of putting together our outline, I saw that Baltimore disparity. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And I saw this one. I'm like, I might have to erase the Baltimore one because it's less impressive than this.
Well, when you see any team have under 20, that's
big.
It sticks out.
Yeah, really, really sticks out.
Because Pittsburgh got 20 minutes,
20 and a half,
seconds,
basically. Yeah.
20 and a half.
Yeah.
So they were close.
Yeah.
But, man, 18.
Yeah.
The Eagles defeat the Packers 22-10. Saquon Barkley, your boy, 119 yards rushing. Jordan Love, apparently he likes to play really bad against the Eagles, not the Cowboys, in wild card games.
Yeah.
He had 3 interceptions.
Kind of a pretty underwhelming performance by the Eagles in this victory. Obviously, the Packers kind of playing a little shorthanded. Jordan Love a little banged up, but yeah, I mean the Eagles, they got the job done. They played good defense. I think they are still a threat in the NFC.
Yeah,
but yeah, not like the sexiest performance, especially in the passing game. But yeah, we'll see what they can do against the Rams.
Yeah, I think Eagles are sneaky good. I think it says something to them that they can kind of win ugly like this.
Yeah. Actually, it kind of makes me like their chances still. Maybe not more than I did before, because I do have them as my NFC champion.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think the fact that they didn't have to go off and win this game still like relatively comfortably, I think that bodes well for them going forward.
Yeah, the Commanders beat the Buccaneers 23-20 in the only upset of the week. Jaden Daniels, who is my player of the week. I'll just say it now. 304 total yards, 2 touchdowns passing. He is he's a rookie. He won on the road, playoff game. It's
impressive.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a really big deal.
Yeah, he's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, he led the game-winning drive with less than 5 minutes left in the game. Zane Gonzalez, game-winning 35-yard doink.
Impressive.
To win the game.
Good accuracy, right?
Right, yeah.
He tried to do that. Yeah. Style points.
The Bears are sitting there like, man, we couldn't have that happen like 7 years ago.
No shit.
It's double doink.
Who was that kicker?
Oh, I just saw that video not too long ago. I couldn't remember.
It wasn't Santos, was it?
No,
yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, the Commanders. I gotta say, Jaden Daniels, the dude, he's clutch when it matters.
He's early in the season they were beating some bad teams, right? And they got humbled in the middle of the year, and then over the last I think they've won 7 straight now, if I'm not mistaken. Because they were 7-5, 6 straight. I take it back, 6 straight since being 7-5.
Well, they lost that Cowboy game.
That was the last time they lost, I believe.
Got you.
Yeah, and yeah, he's had to make had to have some big moments, and yeah, he's a fucking playmaker. That's all he is.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to put it.
I'm watching it. I'm like, God, I gotta deal with this for a long time.
Yeah,
just making the right plays throwing, making the right plays rushing.
Yeah,
you got to give it to him. He looked really good.
And speaking of a guy, we talked about Bo Nix, having a lot of starts under his belt. This guy has a lot of starts under his belt. Also extremely talented, which is, I think the gap between him and Bo Nix at this point. So I think his future is very bright. It'll be interesting to see. He does scare me a little bit because he runs a lot, puts his body, into harm's way a little more than you would like. Lamar does that sometimes too,
but I feel like Lamar's more graceful with how he picks and chooses how to slide or go down.
I would agree. I think Jaden's probably got to learn to do that a little bit better, but nonetheless, he's a treat to watch.
Absolutely. Baker Mayfield, the crucial fourth quarter fumble in the red zone that led to a Commander's touchdown, and he knew it instantly. And that was, he punched the ground, which I thought to myself instantly, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
you break your hand. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Long term, it could be bad. You just knew that was, at least I thought that's the game.
It was the gut punch for sure.
The way the Commanders were scoring points, I was like, they're going to do something on this drive.
Well, and the big thing too was like the Bucks had just held the Commanders on 4th and goal, and they went for it, right, to try and score a touchdown, and then to give the ball right back to them, and then they score on 4th and goal again right off of that, which is fucking tough. I mean, the defense probably they're not going to give Baker any shit for it, but it's just like you felt bad for him because of how hard they fought.
Well, you feel bad
keep that lead.
You feel bad for Baker because of how good of a season he's had, and the way it has to end like that.
Yeah.
And Baker is Tampa's guy.
Yeah.
Which I think is deserved. He's
got another year on his contract. I think they like him a lot.
Played very well this year, but just to see his season end like that, it's a little tough.
Yeah.
Also, it's cool seeing 2 former Heisman winners go against each other.
That's true. Yeah. Didn't think about that.
I like that. The Rams, final game of the week, beat the Vikings in Arizona because of the LA fires.
Right.
Interesting situation there. 27-9. The Rams sacked Sam Darnold 9 times. Darnold had 2 turnovers. Sam Darnold, everyone's been saying it, he kind of turned into a pumpkin.
Poor guy, man. He had such an amazing season.
He probably, like your boy said about Nate, old Iowa quarterback.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Sam Darnold just
what was
cost
that
himself,
guy's name? Nate Stanley.
Nate Stanley. Just like Nate Stanley, Sam Darnold probably cost himself $50 million.
Millions of dollars.
The past 2 weeks.
Yep.
You hate to see it. I mean, I talk shit about the Vikings and all that, and it was fun seeing them lose.
Yeah.
But it really seems like the Lions just snatched the soul of the Vikings 2 weeks ago.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because the Vikings went into that game as favorites, right? And then, it was for the division. The Vikings were hot. Lions, they've been dealing with all these injuries, and then they just go ahead and lay an egg against them and have to go on the road against L.A., who they already lost to.
Not only that, go on the road against L.A. in Arizona, and when L.A. has everything going for them because of the fires, and it's like, not going to really, I mean, people were comparing it to Katrina, and I guess I won't say it is or isn't.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of vibe of like, we're putting the city on our back.
Right.
We're doing it for the city.
Yeah. It could have gone either way, I think. I mean, it could be just like you can't overcome this kind of thing, but it was, like you said, it could be a shot in the arm as well.
Like we all come together and we're going to do it for LA.
Right.
And do I expect them to win in Philly? Probably not.
But we'll get there. Get there. I do think this was the most impressive win of the weekend. I mean, I did not.
Yeah.
I didn't see them rolling the Vikings. I knew the Vikings had maybe a little fraud sprinkled on them, but I didn't think it was going to look like that. I mean, 9 sacks is insane.
Yeah, I would say maybe the Commanders game could rival the impressiveness of the Rams, but I think the Rams, given the fact they played a 14-win team that played well all season, and the Vikings, and the fact that they beat them that bad, probably I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, and they didn't even have to dominate offensively. They just owned them in every other facet.
So the Vikings this year lost 4 games, right? Including the playoffs.
Yeah.
2 to the Lions, 2 to the Rams. Back-to-back losses twice this season.
In the same order.
Yeah. Week 6 and 7 and Week 18 in the wild card game, they lost to the Lions and the Rams.
Crazy. Yeah, because they won 5 straight to start the year, lost to the Lions, Rams, and then won, was it 8 in a row after that, and then lost to the Rams? That's pretty crazy.
You can't make that up. That's an amazing stat.
It is a pretty wild.
Kind of makes you think if they didn't have to play either of the 2 of those teams, they could have maybe won the whole thing. Who knows?
You never know.
But I think so. Sam Darnold, do you think is it automatically JJ's job now?
I do think they move on. It's crazy to think that because he asked me 3 weeks ago. I'm thinking there's a good chance he comes back, at least on like a situation where they franchise tag him because he is eligible for that.
Yeah, I could see it being he comes back and starts initially. Maybe JJ needs a little more time to kind of learn that kind of thing. And then eventually JJ takes over sometime next year. Yeah. But I don't know if they're going to completely cut bait unless they have to and then have JJ start.
I think there's a lot of options here, actually. I think they could franchise tag him and trade him, which I think might be their best move. The only thing is, you franchise tag him and then he's on that deal, which maybe not every team out there is willing to take on, $45 million, whatever it would be, even though it's only 1 year. Mm-hmm. The other thing, too, is they have Daniel Jones in the room. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are saying that he would be a good candidate to either start the season next year and have JJ watch for a little bit or, be the backup for JJ and be a security blanket.
I mean, it sounds crazy, but if I'm a Vikings fan, I'd rather have Sam Darnold play than Daniel Jones.
Well, yeah.
And who knows if...
You kind of just got to make a decision, though. It's like, do you think Sam Darnold's your future, or do you think J.J. McCarthy's your future? Yeah. You wasted a 10th overall pick on him, you know?
No, I think J.J. is going to be the future.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's going to start week 1 next season.
If I had to bet, I think I would put him on, assuming health. I think I would put my money on JJ being the starter week 1. Okay. Yeah. But that's obviously with not a lot of context involved at this point, exactly.
Yeah, so that's Wild Card Weekend. One thing I want to mention before we move on to the divisional round is Napa's finest Brock Bowers named first team All-Pro as a rookie.
Well deserved. Had a fantastic season.
That's awesome. Good for him.
It was kind of as all fantasy football owners know, kind of a weak year for tight end production, but Brock was definitely one of the bright spots. So
absolutely,
tip the cap to him.
Yeah. Player of the week. I already told you mine. Jaden Daniels. Who is yours?
I'm going to go Derrick Henry. I think he made Lamar's job so much easier than he's ever had it in postseason play, and just the fact that he's been doing it for so long at this point. And I'm going to get to Derrick Henry in last call because I got some interesting stuff about him, but the dude's still an animal at 30-something years old.
Yeah, so no doubt about it.
Yeah, 186 yards for him this past weekend.
The divisional round matchups: Texans at Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 8.5. Ravens at Bills. Bills are a home dog.
Cannot wait for that game. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
So the Ravens are favored by 1.
Yep.
The Commanders at Lions. The Lions are favored at 9.5. Pretty big number.
Yeah.
And the Rams at the Eagles. Eagles are favored by 6.
Yeah. I mean, not obviously. There's some large spreads in this round, but I think that Rams Eagles game is going to be more interesting than the line would suggest.
Yeah, I mean, if the Eagles play the way they did last week, I'm not sure if they can win the game.
Outside of obviously, Baltimore and Buffalo, who do you think has the best chance of upset?
Outside of Baltimore and Buffalo, I think I would go Rams.
Yeah. The only thing I fear for them is them going into Philly in that weather.
It's the dome LA team going to the cold Philly team. It's not something that you love.
It's hard to just imagine that. Yeah, I'd almost go Washington.
Yeah. Just
because you get in a shootout. I'm not saying Jaden Daniels has earned this type of credit that I'm about to give him, but getting a shootout and it's a less than 1 score game and Jaden Daniels got the ball at the end of the game, shit could happen,
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we got a fun weekend.
You worried about the Chiefs at all?
Not really. I think I expect them to come out slow because of the obvious reasons they've been, their starters for the most part.
Mahomes hasn't thrown a ball in like 25 days when this game starts.
Yeah, not a competitive one anyways.
Since Christmas.
Yeah. So I think it's reasonable to say that the first half could be a little dicey for them, but I expect them to be on top of it.
Win and cover?
We'll get to that in our picks. 8.5 is a large number.
It is a large number.
I'm not sure how I feel about the Texans, Let's recap last week's picks real quick.
Let's do it.
Speaking of earlier in the show, Gage, unreal 4 for 4.
Yeah. That's good.
Tip my cap to you, sir.
Thank you.
Me, not so much. 1 for 5 on picks this past week. 1 and 4 overall.
Forgot you had that 5th one.
Yeah, it's funny to think about the fact that the one pick that I held out on the longest was the one that I won.
The only one.
Only one.
Were you leaning towards Green Bay at all in that game when you were thinking about it?
No, I knew when I had to settle for it was going to be Philly. Even though there was the question marks with the quarterbacks and all that. I was pretty sure it was going to be Philly. But yeah, I still was like on the fence about it overall. But yeah, I mean, none of the other games I was the Tampa Bay one was a go either way game. I felt good about Tampa just because of Baker's experience versus Jaden Daniels. Didn't work out for me though. No. I forgot that you did end up going with the Commanders in that game +3, but good on you.
Only because I was avoiding the Philly game.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, even then I would have went 3-0, but I went that game because I didn't want to touch Philly because which is ironic because they won.
Right. I think in hindsight, I probably should have just because I was like, I guess I'll go Minnesota -1, but I probably should have just said, "Fuck it, I'll go Philly."
Yeah,
and then could have ended it right there.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident about the Rams because that was my second pick. So
I mean, I had the Rams winning in
Yeah.
my bracket and
Me
all
too.
that. Didn't see it going the way it did, obviously, but
not like that.
no. But your first this round.
Oh my god!
Who's going to be your first pick? We're doing this for the first time all season. Live picks on the show.
Okay. These are tough lines, man. I think I'm gonna play it what I think is safe, and I'll take the Chiefs 8.5.
Okay. Don't hate that.
I think I'll take the Chiefs 8.5.
I'm going to go Bills +1.
Thank you for picking that game.
I was going to maybe let you go, and I would go the other way,
okay.
just naturally, but I'm going to go Bills +1. Everything about this game probably says the Ravens, but I think part of me feels like Vegas is trying to trick everyone into thinking the Ravens are the better team, and I'm just gonna go against it.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I'll go Commanders +9.5.
Okay.
Lions with a week off could be a little bit rusty.
I
Jane Daniels down
I
the
was kind of
stretch, like
thinking
you were
that way
saying.
too. Maybe backdoor cover, keep it interesting.
Yeah.
Keep it interesting. Excuse me. What do I want to do here? Everyone's talking up the Rams in this game. I'm gonna go Eagles. I'm gonna go contrary here. You can keep it going if you want. Obviously, you have the upper hand in the standings with a 4-0 record, but
Yeah. Do I want to pick the Ravens just to do it? Because I feel like the Ravens could. I mean, I just said I think they win the Super Bowl, so I obviously have confidence that they can win this game.
Send it, dude.
Given the fact that my very beautiful girlfriend is a Bills fan, I'm not going to touch it.
Soft.
I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch it. What about you? You going to pick one more?
I'm kind of torn here. I have some ground to make up, so I feel like I need to.
Okay.
I'm just torn if I go Lions covering
I mean,
Texans staying in the game.
Yeah. I think out of those two, if I'm being honest, I'd probably say the Lions cover.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do. 9.5 feels like a lot in a playoff game, but they are the 1 seed. They scored a lot of points this year.
They're at home.
They got a week
Commanders.
off.
Rookie quarterback.
I think the game, not a bold prediction, but the game at halftime is going to be within 3 points.
Okay.
And I'm going to go Lions to pull away at the end.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go Lions. That's going to be my
in.
last pick. Picks are in.
Picks are in.
This basketball game.
Oh, it's already the third quarter. Okay.
It's already third quarter. 59-49 Warriors still up, but interesting. Like I said,
Yeah. Right. It's closer than I thought it would be.
plenty of game to go. Ref, get out of the way. Who the fuck? Oh, that's Key. What time is it?
It's time for our last call.
That was easy.
Alrighty, we're here.
Do you want to save your birth of Derrick Henry for last, or you want me to say some things?
Yeah, if you got anything fun to mix in,
I got a few things.
My rant's gonna be not long, but it's got some verbiage.
I'll get my stuff out of the way. My Kings, they had won 7 straight before losing, of course, last night to the Bucks. So congrats to them.
Good little run. They beat the Celtics, which you did not think they were gonna do.
De'Aaron Fox didn't play.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
No.
Wow.
De'Aaron Fox didn't play, and Tatum and Brown both played for the Celtics.
Wow.
So that is... I mean, I was shocked when I saw the final score when Dev texted it to us, and I checked the stats. I'm like, De'Aaron Fox didn't play.
What is Doug Christie feeding your boys
I
right
don't
now?
know. Just keep feeding them.
They lost to Milwaukee. Was that right?
Last night, yeah. Which, of course, it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah. Can't win long.
I want, I'll keep it, not much of Bottle Rock's coming to Napa, as it always does. To me, it's not really a good lineup. A lot of returning people, as kind of Bottle Rock seems to do.
I don't really get that. I mean, maybe they're just cheap bastards, which I can understand, but it's like, come on.
Well, I feel like Bottle Rock is, they put themselves into a corner where I feel like they can't get back out. In saying that, they're giving too much to the people that And I understand Napa is, can be bougie and all these older people and all these, cougars who drink Chardonnay and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, they're never going to be able to get, like a Drake or a Kendrick. That's too far gone.
I don't even think that's what they want, to be honest.
No. But why wouldn't they? Because they have Public Enemy's coming back. E40's coming back. They have... Didn't Cage Elephant play already here?
Yep.
Yeah, Cage Elephant.
Yep.
And there's probably a few other ones.
I think they're kind of trying to play that middle ground of we'll kind of feed those people who want kind of more modern music a little bit or hip hop, if you will, but also their big names are going to be kind of mainstream, not older music in a way,
So the headliners: Green Day, Justin Timberlake, Noah Kahan. I mean, Justin Timberlake and Green Day, pretty big names.
Yeah. I think Justin Timberlake would be a fun concert, honestly.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Sublime's going to be there, so that kind of piques my interest. I mean, Cascade, they're electronic music. Not bad, I guess. Revolution, reggae. Ice Cube, be cool. But besides that, I mean, Flo Rida's going to be there.
E40's back.
By far the best day is Friday. Green Day, Sublime, Cascade, Public Enemy, E40. Everything else to me is just whatever.
Yeah.
Bottle Rock's kind of losing its cachet.
Yeah, I don't even know if it really ever had it. I mean, those first few lineups were pretty decent.
Yeah.
Looking back on them. Mm-hmm. If those lineups came out today, that would be cool. Mm-hmm.
But I guess my taste is just not this, really.
Right. I mean? Yeah. And I just wonder, I want to know who gets excited about lineups that they've been putting out in the last, honestly, 7-8 years.
Yeah.
And because a lot of I've literally never heard of 85% of the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, it's even worse when you look, even for me, when I see Outside Lands, I don't know anything.
Oh, really?
Besides, the headliners, I'm who are these people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Outside Lands seems to get big-time headliners, though.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do. Bigger than...
Because I remember the first few years, you could go down, I remember going down, halfway on the lineup and be okay, I know these people and these people, which was,
For Outside Lands?
No, for
Bottle Rock.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Early on, though. First maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
But doesn't seem to happen anymore.
With that being said, I'll probably go the Friday because it's the best day in my opinion. I'm glad Green Day's here because I've been saying this for years. Green Day's been due.
Green Day's cool, yeah. I mean, they're well past their prime, obviously, but that'd be fun to see them.
That was my first legit concert I ever went to was Green Day.
Oh yeah, back in the American Idiot.
Yeah.
Bullet in the Bible, or was it Bullet in the Bible? Bullet for a Bible, something like that.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was a good show though. It was cool. Saw him at Arco Arena, R.I.P. Not around anymore.
They nuke it, or is it still an event center?
It's it's Ashley Small did one of her.
Oh yeah, her little setups.
One of the little setups over in the same parking lot, and it was still up at half it. The roof was caved in.
Oh shit!
They're in the process of
taking it down.
It looks, which sucks because I've seen some cool. I've seen I saw Slipknot for the first time there. It was an amazing fucking show. Now that it's just demolished, it's kind of sad.
Yeah,
I understand they don't need to use it for anything anymore, but it's you see it and you're that's kind of sad.
It's crazy.
And then last thing I want to ask you, I got to tell you, I saw a bunch of NASCAR Daytona promos. I'm kind of bricked up, and I got to know: are we doing a NASCAR pool? Are we going to do a draft? Are we going to do a draft for it? Are we drafting for it? Excuse me. Of course we're doing the pool. Sorry. Should I leave?
I can't believe you're asking this question.
But when are we going to do... Have you thought about us doing a redraft?
Yeah, of course. We probably got to do that in the next couple of weeks, I would think.
Yeah.
But of course, it's funny how short the racing off-season is.
Yeah, it
is. Because NASCAR goes mid-February to freaking middle of November. So it's 3-month layoff.
And what, are we 5 months away from Sonoma? Are we counting down?
A little longer this year because it's moved back.
6 months.
Yeah, something like that.
July.
Yeah, July.
So
it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be hot.
All right, to your birth.
You know what you haven't asked me in a long time? That you said you were going to ask me every week? Do you know what it is?
If you've watched college basketball.
Yeah. I'm a little butthurt, actually.
Yeah, here, I'll keep it here. I'll just add on there. Just so I don't forget.
Because the week after you asked me for the first time, I actually did watch college basketball.
Really?
And I haven't watched any since. But
I think I caught a little bit of it when we were at Norman on Sunday. In the right corner TV.
Yeah, I watched a good game between from It was Memphis and UConn.
Okay.
Remember, Penny Hardaway was there, and UConn obviously was the defending champs, 2-time defending champs.
I will ask you from here on out until March.
Just wish you would have done it a long time ago. I'm kidding.
I mean, how old is the season?
I mean, it started in like November.
Oh, okay.
So it's been going for a couple months. Yeah.
I've been slacking.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay, do you remember the birth of Derrick Henry? Not Derrick Henry the person, but Derrick Henry, the NFL superstar running back?
The birth of Derrick Henry. I remember watching him for the first time at Alabama coming in when it was a blowout at Nick's house.
Okay. Oh, like he was the backup running back? Interesting.
If that's what you mean.
Who was no, because I'm talking NFL only.
Oh, okay. I remember specifically because I said,
who was he behind? Was it TJ Yeldon or something random like that?
I remember seeing Derrick Henry at the time. He was probably like 18. I'm like, dude, that guy is.
Oh, he
was tall. I was
absolute
like,
unit.
That's a tall running back.
Yeah. You don't see a lot of 6'2" running backs.
No, you don't.
Yeah. I think Adrian Peterson was kind of in that like rare tall guy for a running back.
The birth of Derrick Henry though.
In the NFL happened December 6th, 2018. Now, Derrick Henry...
Was it the 99-yard rushing touchdown?
He might have had one.
No, he has
in that game.
Oh, okay. Was it against the Titans? Or no, so he was on the Titans. No, just keep going.
Anyways, so Derrick Henry, obviously a Heisman winner. So,
yeah.
Big-time guy coming out of college. Was the 45th overall pick in 2016.
45th?
Which, in hindsight, sounds kind of weird. But I do kind of remember when he came out of college, I think people were like a little concerned about his usage in college for one, and his lack of speed and potentially like him breaking down early in his career. Mm. But obviously he was a fucking animal.
Yeah.
But honestly, early in his career, he did not put together great numbers. His first 43 games of his career, 1,708 yards, 15 touchdowns. So that's basically 3 full seasons worth of games. Mm. And this is, cutting off the last 4 games of 2018.
Yeah.
So literally less than 40 yards per game that he averaged in that time span, about 4 yards per attempt, which is 4 yards per attempt is not great. And 40 yards a game, like no superstar running backs getting 40 yards a game. They're definitely like doubling that, right? December 6th, 2018 was basically his coming out party in the NFL, which is almost 3 years into his career, which if you think about a guy being 3 years into his career and having not really done anything impressive to that point, there might be on their way out of the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Yet he goes for 17 carries, 238 yards, and 4 touchdowns against the Jaguars. That was the first time he ever showed any signs of being this kind of guy.
I guess I did forget that he started his career slow.
Yeah, it's honestly rare to see a running back be like kind of a late bloomer in a way.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them are like Zeke.
Yeah.
Where they're great out the gate and they kind of fall off at the end of their career.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Derrick Henry's been the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. So he also, the following week after that, 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. So started getting on a roll there, right? The final 4 weeks, 2018 in total, so that's including those 2 games, 585 yards, 7 touchdowns, which was good for 146 yards a game, 6.7 yards per attempt, which is an insane number in the NFL. 93 games since his first 43 games. So the next 93 after his first 43, that's including December 6th, 2018, when he was born. This guy has 9,715 yards rushing, 91 touchdowns.
Wow.
Good for about 21 carries a game and 105 yards a game for an average of 5 yards an attempt, which is very solid. And it's just insane to think about the difference of player, especially a guy who's now, I believe, he's like 31, maybe 32 years old, to be doing that at this point of his career. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did he not have the most slept-on 1,900-yard rushing season of all time?
Was that this year?
That was this year.
Well, yeah. Well,
as a 30-plus-year-old for one.
Well, yeah, that's impressive. It's a good point because I had no idea. It's kind of like how Jamar Chase had like 17 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But I think it doesn't. I mean, for him, he got 1,900 yards and didn't even win the rushing title.
Yeah, I think
that's why.
Yeah, there's 2 things working against him. He's got an MVP candidate on his team, and Lamar Jackson,
who is like essentially another running back.
Exactly, and then of course Saquon, who went over 2,000. And was,
that is a great point because that is a very slept on 1,900 yards rushing.
The dude's an animal, though.
Oh my god!
And
he should be a cowboy.
Should have been a cowboy.
Should have been a cowboy.
Who sang that song?
Who is that?
Is that Toby?
Kobe T.
Kobe? Anyways, kudos to Derrick Henry for doing it this late in his career, and you don't see a lot of running backs play this well into their 30s.
Yeah.
But when we talked about the Ravens, they're dangerous, and he's obviously a big reason why. Steph Curry's dangerous too with that 3-ball.
I was going to say, how do you feel about your Warriors right now? Up 10, 6.5 left in the third.
I mean, if this game... Oh, wow.
And
that
one.
was fucking nice.
That was nice.
And Edwards has been cooking lately. I don't know if you've seen the numbers, but he had a 53-piece about 2 weeks ago.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, Warriors up 8. Probably going to be up 7 after Edwards hits this free throw. Got a lot of time left in this game. About halfway through the third quarter.
Tomorrow, Cavs, Thunder.
They just played recently.
Yeah.
Great game.
2 31 teams and 2 teams that have 5 or less losses.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot believe... I've been saying this. I cannot believe how well the Cavs have been playing.
I think I put the Thunder in my finals as my prediction. And my 1 seed in the West. But I did not foresee them being this good either. Yeah. Cavs definitely not. They're definitely the most surprising of the top teams.
Oh my God. But are the Cavs going to kind of be like how the Vikings were? We'll see. I just don't...
Well, that's what I want to ask. Is if we did contender rankings today, is there any team you would put above the Celtics, or are they still number 1? Unquestioned.
Oof. It's tough because if you're going like just off this season alone, not like playoff success and playoff experience, I mean, you could have a debate of putting the Thunder or the Cavs up there.
Right. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, I think, has won maybe 2 playoff series in his career.
Maybe. I'm sure he got bounced by the Warriors a couple times because everybody was.
The Celtics won 4 playoff series last year.
Yeah. Well,
it's hard. The Celtics are still really good. Obviously, they're not playing as well.
I'd have to dig a little deeper on that.
Yeah. The Thunder, I think, are really interesting because obviously they won't have to play the Celtics to get to the finals, assuming they got there. And then I like their team. They're a really good defensive, athletic team.
They're young.
I think the lack of experience would be obviously the big fear. They got to get Chet Holmgren back. But no, I like their team.
Shea Gilgeous he's smooth.
He's cooking. Yeah.
He plays his own game and it works.
I will say he's not my favorite player to watch. He's not flashy, but he is very efficient.
As I said before, he reminds me of like Kawhi Leonard.
A little bit. Just kind of gets to his spots. A little bit of Luka in his game, you could argue, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just gets to his spots and makes plays. All right, I got to take a piss, so I think that's going to be the end of this episode.
Sounds good to me.
Check back to see if the Warriors win this game.
It's now a lot closer than Emerson wants it to be.
It is a 7-point game, and just like I said, it was going to be, at the very least, very interesting.
It already is.
Thank you so much for watching, listening. We'll see you next time. Peace.